I'm doing an unboxing of this little gem. Bob Dylan and the Band, the Bootleg Series Volume 11, the Basement Tapes, the Complete Edition. So for those of you who don't even know, essentially in the mid-60s Bob Dylan was involved in a motorcycle accident which put him out of action. This was in the middle of his creative and commercially popular zenith with Blonde on Blonde and Highway 61 Revisited. The motorcycle accident essentially put him out of action, and he couldn't really get around much. So he hauled up in his country home out in New York State and teamed up with his backing band, the Hawks, who were later renamed the band, to record a whole bunch of different songs which were unlike anything else being recorded at the time, in that they were more harking back to older American songs, drawing upon the great country songs and folk songs and all sorts of weird and strange genres which weren't really touched upon in psychedelic 1967. So for various reasons, these songs haven't been available, and the versions they have been available on have been largely overdubbed and of incredibly poor sound quality. Currently before this box set, they were most widely available on the album The Basement Tapes, released in 1975, which featured, I believe, 16 songs from the Basement Tapes and 8 songs by the band, and largely got rid of the rustic charm of these original songs. And in the intervening years, these songs have been bootlegged many times. In fact, the Basement Tapes often credited as being the reasons why the whole bootlegging culture began. People were desperate to hear these kind of legendary songs. So last year, with the amazing Bootleg series, the official one made by Bob Dylan, they finally decided to release them all. Yep, all 138 tracks of it. Over 6 discs, many booklets, photographs, and way too much for my little brain to take in all in one go. So today I'm just going to show you what's actually inside the box. Okay. Let's try and get inside first. So I'm recording this in a new location in absence of Waldo. This is inside my, this is down in the kitchen. Oh yeah. So you can tell for a lot of people this is like the holy grail of Bob Dylan songs. This is basically the album that people have been clamouring for years and years and years to be released. So it's kind of weird to be holding the whole thing in your hands. You can tell it probably doesn't look like much, but it's pretty weighty, it's pretty heavy. So let's see what's inside. The first thing I see is a poster for Bob Dylan's Shadows in the Night, which presumably, yep, new album coming out, which it's already out now. It's bizarre and strange if you've not heard it yet. Bob Dylan in his old 17 nasally old voice decides to cover Frank Sinatra songs. Results surprisingly quite good. So yeah, so you got that. That's not much. That's not what you want to see. This isn't why you've come. You've come to see this. So you get this nice cardboard book put to one side. That's the picture of Dylan on the front of the original Basement Tapes album cover with the dog there. So you open it up, and you get the CDs. So I'm going to get a whole bunch of track listings, presumably from the tapes these albums came from. So there's disc 1. Disc 2. You fold that over, it's almost like a little tape. And here you got all sorts of nice pictures. I've seen this one before. You get posters. That's original piece of artwork done by Bob Dylan for the band's album Music from the Big Pink, which is a great album. So you get essays, pictures I've not seen before, kind of a bit of context to the bands of the song. I've actually not read this yet, obviously, so I'm looking forward to having a peruse through this. So you get to see some of these pictures that I've never seen before. Loads of essays. My first thought is that this is of an incredibly high quality. I feel like I've definitely got my money's worth. There you go, and there's the iconic original album cover to the original Basement Tapes. If you've not heard it, it's a pretty good album, but I am looking forward to hearing these kind of raw and how they should be heard. I mean, what's important to remember is that this album essentially is seen as being the forebearer, obviously should say these tapes. I see this being the forebearer to the whole Americana movement, which is obviously huge. Just by the fact that they were recording songs which harkened back to a time kind of pre-1960s and pre-hippie culture. It was a pretty huge statement at the time. Especially in the face of someone like the Beatles or bands like Led Zeppelin spending months and months inside the studios trying to, well, Led Zeppelin went around then, but you can get the drift. You know, bands trying to go into studios for months on end, trying to produce their masterpieces. And here comes along Dylan and the band, and they just basically produce just a bunch of demos, and they're just kind of having fun together. So that's the original bootleg, The Great White Wonder, which contained a lot of these early tracks on it. So kind of going through. Some more notes. I don't know what these notes are about. The complete track listing, which is just insane. I've got a huge mountain to climb listening to these. And then here you get, presumably, more of the CDs, yep. They all come in these amazing gatefolds, which is just awesome. They're so beautiful. Disc 3. Disc 4. This one's kind of got like a bit of like a kind of I don't know what you call that material, kind of like a see-through vinyl. Looks pretty awesome. Disc 5. And disc 6. So lots of music to listen to, 138 tracks. Let me just kind of reel off what the front sticker says. The definitive chronicle of Dylan's legendary 1967 sessions with the band. Historic 6-disc set including 138 tracks and previously unreleased material. Meticulously restored from the first time from original master tapes. Exclusive 120-page deluxe bound book containing rare and unseen photographs, memorabilia, and extensive liner notes. What more could you want? So this is pretty awesome. I can't wait to start listening to all this stuff. So I'll put it to one side. Get the rest of the set. There's another book in here, which seems to me to be a hardbound book with a whole bunch of photographs from the time. So a lot of this stuff I imagine I've probably not seen before. These all rare photographs of Dylan doing his fang. I love that hat. I want to know where he got that hat from. He's really rocking the look. I've seen that one before. Not seen any of these, he looks like a hipster. Now there's the band. There's him getting a bit wet. That must be the cottage we hung out in. There's the band hanging out. Dylan's reading a magazine. I've seen that one before. These look to be Nashville Skyline album cover outtakes. I always think it looks like Orlando Bloom on the front cover of that album. Don't know why. But also, I think by re-releasing the Basement tapes, it kind of reminds people of kind of where Dylan was at the time, but also kind of maybe the critical response to his albums of the early 70s, in particular New Morning and Self-Portrait. Like Self-Portrait really draws upon more older kind of weird bizarre American songs, and a lot of people at the time just did not get it where this was coming from at all. But if you kind of go back and listen to the Basement tapes, I'm guessing you can see kind of the nebulous of it, I guess. More pictures. I guess Dylan messed about with the camera, rocking on a guitar. Someone's reading some magazines with the Kinks. And presumably these are pictures of the actual tapes. Pictures from the singles. Another thing that was interesting was that even though Dylan was taking time off and recording all these kind of fun songs with his with the band, The idea was that he record the demos and then pass the songs on to other people to record. That's kind of how a lot of people first heard these songs. Again, the quality of this of the printing is kind of amazing, really. More Dylan art. Looks like a track listed from the Bootleg, The Great White Wonder. News clippings about trying to halt these bootleg albums that are being released. I mean, I've always had a respect for this series, for Boblin's official bootleg series. You know, they know exactly how to appease the fans, and they know kind of what they want. You know, some stuff is stuff that we've always wanted, like the Royal Albert Hall concert or the Basement Tapes complete edition. Other stuff we never thought we'd want. Like, who would have thought that, like, another self-portrait is, like, probably one of the best ones in the entire series for how illuminating it is on that controversial album. So it just keeps on going and going. Oh, this must be Outtakes when they were shooting the Basement Tapes album cover. So yes, I'm quite impressed. A lot of these I've never actually seen before. So there you go. That is the picture booklet that comes with the Volume 11 complete Basement Tapes. So I'm going to rip all this stuff onto my iTunes now and give it a hell of a good listen, reading the booklet, but well, can't forget this, most important part. But just from like a bare looking at it, I'm really impressed by the quality of the print. You know, they never really let fans down. I definitely got money's worth. Well, maybe like it was obviously maybe a little bit too. I mean, all this stuff is too expensive, but I think at the time when it first came out, it was priced at a ridiculous price, and I managed to get this at a pretty decent price. So I feel like I got money's worth. Get in there. But of course, it's the actual music that you want to hear about. So I'm going to give this a really good listen. 6 discs. I don't know how long that is. Maybe like 7-8 hours worth of material I need to try and get through. So I will do a complete review of this box set. But I mean, just from looking at you know, kind of just the booklet and the CDs and the pictures, I'm really impressed. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've enjoyed me fanboying out of this box set. So watch for the review of it very soon.